It's a booming industry that everyone's familiar with. With expansion into movies, television, and pop culture, nearly everyone's been a part of it. It's the culture of comic books, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. After working its way into our hearts and our minds, comic books are not only a great escape, but a great way to make a buck. Charlie Townley has been following comic books since 2005, and now he has them tattooed on his body and takes them everywhere he goes.
That's when I was like going through a collection spree. Like I was trying to collect comics, and I had a database and everything on my computer at the time, and I was getting backs for all of them, cardboard backs, and the sleeve.
Townley enters his favorite comic shop, Fandemonium Comics and More, right here in Sylva, North Carolina.
This is part of the new Marvel Now campaign. You can see there is a difference.
Fortunately for Townley and his newfound love for comic book tattoos, located right next door to Fandemonium is Hot Shot Tattoo and Piercing Parlor, and Townley is ready to make another appointment.
Hey, have you drawn it up?
Yeah, dude, I hadn't seen it yet. I put a little picture like this on there.
Casey Smith has been a professional tattoo artist for over 4 years and opened up Hot Shots Tattoo Parlor 1 year ago, and feels that getting a comic book tattoo is not only a great way to reconnect with your inner child, but a great way to bring that inner child back forth. And Townley couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, all right. That sounds like a plan, man.
Brandon Beck is actually writing his own comic book.
I started doing a couple months ago, but then we stopped because of classes interrupting and just work. Then I got a project in school that allowed me to use this for the project. Just been working pretty strong on it, trying to.
Beck is also an avid comic book collector and fan.
I've always had some comics, but I started buying them more recently. The toys I got into recently.
I asked Beck if he had experienced any criticism for his comic book passion.
Not really. It doesn't substitute for reading a book from what I hear, but still.
Beck takes comic book collecting very seriously and very passionately.
Well, with a lot of it, I want to just hold on to for a really long time and hopefully let it become worth something.
And speaking of worth, Aaron Kirkman has made it his own personal goal to collect every single issue of The Amazing Spider-Man since issue 1.
He's definitely my favorite Marvel character. I mean, everything I've bought probably within the last 10 years. So it seemed like the biggest challenge to do when I wanted to get into one character. I think he had more comics listed on eBay than any one character. More than Superman, and more than Batman, and more than the X-Men and the Avengers.
Kirkman's most difficult challenge was locating the older issues of The Amazing Spider-Man, but agrees that even some of the newer issues are just as sought after.
Every now and then there's a newer issue that's gonna be sought after too.
And Kirkman can attest that a comic book hobby is anything but cheap.
The most I paid for a Spider-Man comic was about $175 for number 2.
Clearly, no small feat. And as the comic book industry continues to grow, the comic book fans continue to grow with it, as it continues to become widely acceptable to be a part of.